So there's a quote that I heard today that tells you exactly how to achieve great things. And when I heard about it, I completely resonated with the sentiment. And the quote basically read, "To achieve great things, two ingredients are needed. Number one, a plan, and number two, not enough time." And this is by Leonard Bernstein. And I found it so interesting that when it comes to achieving anything, any of our goals, oftentimes it's not so much the plan that helps us get there. Obviously, you need a plan, you need a rough direction, and you need to know the steps. But oftentimes, it's the not enough time part of the equation that actually helps us achieve our goals. So there was a small example that happened to me before, which was typically my gym workouts take like an hour and a half. Sometimes they take 2 hours, which was very long. And for most of the time, I'm not even like working out. I'm just like on my phone scrolling. But there was one time where I had to go to like university and I only had 45 minutes to work out. And so guess what happened? In those 45 minutes, I managed to complete my workout completely with no compromises, which just shows that you can achieve things if you just have a rough plan of what you're going to do. But even if you don't, like, especially if you don't have enough time, that's the key thing. Now, obviously the gym is a small example. That's just completing a workout. I wouldn't say that's a great thing. Obviously it's good, but there's definitely bigger things. And I remember back in year 10, I was doing, so I was in high school and I was doing a subject called Chinese Second Language Advanced. Basically, it's like an advanced version of the Chinese language, just because like I was born in China and I had to do like the harder version of the subject. Now, the issue with that was I moved to Australia when I was very young, so my Chinese was basically not great. It was, I would say, primary school level, where I needed to be at like a middle school level. I needed to learn like 5-6 years of Chinese. But the thing is, I only had 1 year. So I remember back at that stage, I was like crying, not wanting to do Chinese, but my parents forced me to do it. Eventually I did it. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I have to become fluent at a language in 1 year. I need to learn like 5-6 years of Chinese, which, you know, most students actually do in China when they have that environment. But I have to do it here where I barely speak Chinese. I barely go to like Chinese classes and I have to become fluent. So how do I do that? And especially at the end of the year, we had this like huge presentation where we had to memorize like 60,000 words of like Chinese and prepare that like memorized thing for like a conversation. Basically, it was like an exam. So for this entire year, I remember I was just practicing Chinese every single day. Any opportunity I had with my parents, I would just practice it. I switched all my devices to Chinese. My phone was Chinese. I basically tried to speak English less because I had the theory that if I spoke English more, my Chinese would drop. And so I tried to avoid speaking English at all and just tried to speak Chinese all day. And with that level of obsession, I eventually scored in like the top 10% of the year level, which, you know, doesn't sound great. But the fact that I was competing against people that are like very fluent and people that have been like people that have grown up in China for most of their lives and competing against these people and still ranking in the top 10%, I was very proud of that. Even though I like ended up scoring better in my other subjects compared to Chinese, Chinese was the subject I was the proudest of. And it was just because for me, that was the first time I dedicated like a year of my life to achieve something that I thought was very great. And even though I had a plan, a part of that success was the fact that there was just not enough time. And that pushed me every single day to give it my all because I knew that time was ticking. So to pose the question to you, what is something that you're delaying right now because you're thinking that you have enough time? And if you just rewire your brain to see that technically, if you just visualize and act as if you don't have enough time, you'll be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve on a much smaller scale. And you'll be able to bring the future into the present much quicker than you've ever expected. So with that, take care and have a good night.